What up, players? It's Warboss Tay back up in this mug. Welcome to my 2017 July Painting Challenge Loremaster update video number 1. This is the first update because week 1 is already over. I wish I had done this video a couple days earlier, but that's okay. I'll be doing a second update video at the end of week 2 to kind of give everybody an idea of where my Loremaster is going from there. But from here, I can at least tell you that I'm so excited for this Loremaster challenge. I'm excited because it ties into my hobby as a painter. All 4 weeks of my July Painting Challenge are tied to goals that are going to be written directly into this book that I'm writing, and it's going to be really great because I want to be a writer. I want to write for a living. I want to write fantasy and science fiction and all that good stuff, and I want to be right up there on Daniel Sprinkle's bookshelf. So everybody's bookshelf. Let's sell it to the world. Sell it to HBO. And I want to keep track of it. So here, first week 1, part 1 of my book is going to be written almost like a military, I guess, historical account following one character. He's the company commander of a block of infantry. At this point, he's been in the army for a bunch of years. He's seen the Dread Lord come up in power, take over the people, and this is like the big battle where they've pushed back into the Darklands and they're going to be assaulting his Black Castle, the Black City, and trying to defeat him at his seat of power. You've got the protagonist who has almost nothing to do with any of the heroics. You've got the your Fellowship of the Rings, you've got your hero characters, you've got your Grand Wizards. They're all doing battle, but they might get a mention or two. But in the scope of my story, we're following one guy on the ground who's just trying to keep his men alive, trying to get through the battle. And because I achieved my week 1 goals, he is going to survive this part 1 of the book. When part 1 ends and we jump into part 2, which is his backstory, he is alive. Doesn't mean that the good guys win. It doesn't mean that the Dreadlord is defeated. It just means that when the dust settles in this big battle, he's alive. And that opens up a lot of possibilities for me as a writer, because he could have run away. He could have been, a coward and ran off, or he could have just been knocked on the head and gone unconscious. But when I try to think of what my big story is and how the siege is going to play out, knowing that he's alive, knowing where my end goal is really going to help inform that. Part 2, looking ahead to week 2, I was thinking, okay, what are the stakes for this? And I've come up with 2 possibilities, because the goal is that my character is either going to be a willing volunteer for the military, or he's going to be conscripted or drafted against his will. Now, depending on whether or not I complete my goals, I think both of these offer very interesting creative opportunities. For example, if he is a willing volunteer into the military, I think there are lots of ways he could play. He could be a student at the university studying history and seeing the good that his nation has done and thinking that he's going to join up and be a patriot, and doing it from more idealistic views and not really realizing all of the politics that are going on behind the scenes, and kind of have his innocence taken away from him in battle, and growing to become stronger and to eventually fight for his comrades rather than fighting for just the ideals of his nation or his rulers. He might see that the kings are corrupt and want to be better than that. On the other hand, you've got the guy that does not want to be conscripted. I think an interesting direction could be that he's a noble and he benefits from war and all of that, and maybe he gets implicated, and the only way for him to avoid prison or execution is that he has to be drafted into the military as a foot soldier, common foot soldier, not even a commander, and I think that's an interesting way to play it also. So depending on whether or not I make this goal, I think I've got a lot of great opportunities and lots of different roads to travel down. Either or all of them will be interesting to explore, and hey, whichever one I choose, there's no reason that I can't use these other ideas for my characters, or for characters as supporting characters. So hey, thanks for joining me and listening to me ramble about my Loremaster challenge. It is not difficult at all. I love it, not just because I'm writing a book, but because I think it's fun to think of stories like this and to tell stories to each other. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video. Latest players, latest Dookie.